welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. On the show tonight, we'll be talking about the unveiling of the jerseys for this season, talking about Bendel Insurance and also Edo Queens. It was done today in Benin City, Edo State. And also touchdown on tennis. Naomi Osaka, I believe so many people were wondering why she was pulling out of a tournament she has won twice, 2019 and also 2020. But then now we know the reason why she had to do that, simply because, well, she's going to take a time out and have a baby. We'll talk about that on the program. And also, NWFL will get us talking the games that were played across the country today. Yes, there was a shock, of course. Nasser Amazons losing away from home again. Back-to-back losses for Coach Danjuma. Not good for Christopher Danjuma, for his team to be losing like that. Yes, it's match day 6. So many games to be played before they go for the final top 6. But then you have to start winning early. But let's start off with what happened earlier today in Benin City, Edo State, where the new jersey that was unveiled by both clubs, Edo Queens and Bendel Insurance. Of course, Deputy Governor of the state was actually in hand to be able to do that for the clubs. The coaches and the players were also available for that. And according to him, he says the private partnership they've been able to achieve with the private partnership they've been able to put in place have actually helped, to lay a solid foundation for both clubs and also for sports to thrive in the state. Remember, usually at the beginning of the season, across the world, you have clubs launching their new jersey. But in Nigeria, it seems to be Bendel Insurance and Edo Queens that is more consistent when it comes to unveiling of the new jerseys. They did it last season, and this season they're having it again. And the good news is the fact that their sponsors is sticking with them. They had the sponsors the last time they unveiled, and of course, a contract being extended. And these two clubs, the players will obviously be happy. And another thing is the games will be played on Thursday. Bendel Insurance will be playing their game on Thursday at home. Edo Queens also will be welcoming Abia Angels. They will also be playing at home. And for Bendel Insurance, they won their opening game of the NPFL season going away from home to Aqua United, and they won 2-0. Both goals have been scored in the first half. So they're on 3 points. If you just take a look at the log, yes, it's just one game all the teams have played. But then they are at the top of the table, which is a good way to start the season. And with the investment that is being put into this club, so the players, all of them, are trying as much as possible to see how they will be able to replicate the investment on the field of play. Let's take a listen to the Deputy Governor of the state, Felix Shaibu, also Moses Aduku, the coach of Edo Queens and the coach of Bendel Insurance, Monday Odigie.
While the red jersey is the one for the away games, very beautiful jersey.
The governor was clear. Sport is back to Edo State, the native land. We started with Bendel Insurance and Edo Queen. We hosted the sport festival. All these are geared towards making football not just a social activity, but a business concern. I'm happy that the Minister of Sport has introduced and launched a 10-year master plan. That 10-year master plan, all of us in the 36 states in Nigeria and FCT can key in for us to develop sports. And I'm also happy that he has taken sport out of just a social engagement, but now a business concern.
So far, we're on top of the log. The tax is huge because the journey is just starting, Last season I was with Bayelsa Queens, and I think we won the league, and though we want that also.
This has become an annual thing since I joined the team back, and I think it's one way to make the team feel like renewed before every season. Something new, and it has a long way of boosting their morale and trying to make them look fresh.
Right, that's the coach of Bendel Insurance, Monday Odigie, and of course you heard earlier from the coach of Edo Queens, Moses Aduku. Yes, he won the league with Bayelsa Queens the last time, so he also wants to see if he can do that with Edo Queens. But from the games they've played so far, they're top of the Group B, which is a good way to start 13 points after 5 games. Yes, they are on the right track. Insurance, they've just played 1 game. But then I'll not be doing all the talking alone, because this unveiling of the home and away kit by Bendel Insurance and Edo Queens, Fisayo Dara will be joining me from Port Harcourt to talk more about this. What is like? How does he actually encourage players to really want to go all out, having a new jersey, having a new kit to actually done at the beginning of the season? Fisayo, good evening. How are you doing?
A very good evening to you, Cecilia. So nice to join you on the show once again.
Yeah, it's great to have you join me. Today, just earlier today in Benin City, Edo State, you have Bendel Insurance, of course, Edo Queens unveiling the kits home and away for this season. What do you think about this unveiling, and how does it actually help the players to be fully motivated to go all out and give their all on the field of play?
Yeah, most times in Nigeria, we tend to just want to get to the field of play and play football. But activities like this go a long way in giving the players a social sense of belonging. It gives them the opportunity to see that their sponsors, that's the state government, really think a lot about them. It's not just about paying them salaries and going to the field of play. They care about what they put on. They care about the sponsors that come to partner with the team. And of course, they care about how these teams portray themselves in the public light. That's why every player of Bendel Insurance and Edo Queens, at the moment, Bendel Insurance are on top of their group in their bridge league, because only 1 game was played and they won away from home, plus 2 goals difference. So both teams are presently top of the table, and they have such a glamorous unveiling of their jerseys here today. Definitely, they have everything they need to go all the way this season.
Way to really start the season for both clubs. Now, let's take a look at the games that were played today from the NWFL, that's Nigerian Women's Professional Football League Premiership, where you have, you actually monitored the game. You were at the stadium for the game between Delta Queens and, of course, Rivers Angels. It ended goalless. But let's take a look at other games before we talk about Rivers Angels and what is currently happening with that club right now, because sometimes you just be wondering what's happening with Rivers Angels. Yes, Nigeria Tales and Bayelsa Queens, it was a draw. Bayelsa Queens scored first. Juliet Sunday, 17th minute, she scored. But Nigeria Tales, around 70th minute, they were able to equalize through Agama. Rivers Angels and Delta Queens ended goalless, no goals in that one. Royal Queens and Heartland Queens, it was Chiwendu Oji who scored, that allowed Heartland to get all 3 points in that game away from home. Happens to be the only team that won away from home on match day 6. Move over to Group B, where you have Adamawa Queens and, of course, Nasarawa Amazons. That game for Nasarawa Amazons, yes, they lost to Adamawa Queens by a lone goal. And Ijoma Obi, 88 minutes penalty strike was just enough for them to take all 3 points. Nasarawa Amazons losing another game again, lost at home and losing away from home. Confluence Queens and FC Robo Queens, that game ended 2-1 in favor of the home side. Zainab Aziz scoring a brace in the 74th minute and 80th minute. FC Robo scored first through Folashade Ijamilusi. She scored in the 55th minute, but then Confluence Queens came back and they were able to get all 3 points. The game between Edo Queens and Abia Angels will be tomorrow, Thursday. That's 6 p.m. at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium. With the unveiling of the new kits, they will be donning that and hoping that they can actually get a win from this one, having won away from home. Hopefully, they will be able to do that. Afisa Yamin, taking a look at what happened on match day 6, especially Rivers Angels will obviously get us talking, because if you're looking at the group table right now, in Group A, where you have Delta Queens on 13 points after 5 games, they're yet to lose a game, just 1 draw. Bayelsa Queens, after 5 games, 11 points. Second, and of course, Rivers Angels, 8 points from 5 games.
Well, as I went to the game today was to see what Delta Queens were doing under their head coach Tosin Blankson. Like you reeled out, they won all their 4 matches before today and drawing against Rivers Angels. Now, focusing on Rivers Angels, a lot of questions have been asked. This is not the Rivers Angels we used to know a couple of years back. I must admit that they've lost quite a number of top stars. Like today, they were even without a couple of players, including Deborah Abiodun, the Silver Falcons midfielder, who is currently out injured. So I think they are lacking some big names players. And again, I think they are not looking like a team properly coached. You know, Delta Queens smiled away with a draw, but they could have won. They deserve to win, actually. They were the better side among good teams. They were the team really looking at playing good football. You know, they looked like a properly coached side. You know, this Flamingos midfielder, Taiwo Afolabi in the midfield, Chinaza go up front for them. Even at the back, Joy Michael marshaled the defense for them. And every time they got the ball, they wanted to string the ball together, create chances, and they had a couple of goals disallowed. So I think Rivers Rangers really have to come to the realization of the fact that other teams are catching up with them. We see what Bayelsa Queens are doing. We see what Edo Queens are doing. Now we see what Delta Queens are doing. So if they do not catch up quick, it will be like the story of Super Falcons with the rest of Africa. So Rivers Rangers used to be the big name in Nigerian women's football, but now we've seen that 3, 4, 5 teams are now trying to wrestle that title from them. Look at Conference Queens now, under the tutelage of White Ogbonda. They won away last weekend. Last week. Today, they came from behind to win at home against FC Robo. So these are serious teams. Every team seems to be comfortable, confident of getting into the Super 6. Like after the match today, Tosun Blackton of Delta Queens is so sure of getting to the Super 6. Edwin O'Connor of Rivers Rangers, same thing. Perhaps they'll be joined by Bayelsa Queens. But Rivers Rangers have to rise from their slumber because the rest of Nigeria is catching up.
Yeah, is there something they can actually do differently? Maybe get more players or something? Because, 8 points, 5 matches, and we were talking about Rivers Angels.
It's another point that Edwin mentioned today, that at mid-season they would like to, in terms of playing personnel. But beyond that, I think they also need to do better in ensuring there is a cohesion in the playing in the squad they have. They do not have an entirely bad squad. Are not very experienced, but they are marshaled by the defense is marshaled by Akudo Ogbonna and Pauline Osifioma. They have Tejuri in midfield, who was one of their best players today for me. They still have former league top scorer Ogene Brume.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're
new
losing,
players, but it's not every time.
Okay, we're losing Fisayo. Okay. All right, he's back. All right, Fisayo, just wrap this up quickly. Okay, I think we have to leave at the NWFL, and hopefully next week, of course, next weekend, Rivers Rangers will bounce back from the slump they're currently on and start winning games again. All right, we'll talk about the new Chelsea boy. Yes, it's just loan till the end of the season, but Chelsea are paying 11 million euros for him. Talking about João Felix, who is leaving Atletico Madrid on loan to Chelsea till the end of the season. And it's come out to say that, look, he just wants to help the club to achieve or reach their objectives this season. Chelsea currently not looking good for them, especially when you take a look at the table, because it's not looking pretty at all where they are standing and how it is currently going. But for João Felix, he struggled for consistency this season at Atletico Madrid in 16 league games. That's what he was able. He started just 7 of 16 league games this season, scoring 5 goals and 3 assists in 20 games in all competitions so far this season. But then he also at the World Cup, he scored just once for Portugal before they exited the quarter-final stage. So and the game against Atletico Madrid, they actually started when they lost to Barcelona. He came on as a substitute in the 73rd minute. He was substituted after 73 minutes. He started the game, but he was substituted after 73 minutes. Now, for him he feels Chelsea is a great club, one of the best in the world, and it's going to help that club to achieve, their objective. And he became the 4th most expensive player of all time when he joined Atletico Madrid for 126 million euros. That was from Benfica. Then he was just a teenager, and that was in 2019. So many hopes. Everyone thought it was going to be a fantastic, it's going to make a huge impact. But so far, especially this season, João Felix has been a shadow of himself. But according to the coach of Chelsea, Graham Potter, he believes that this player will bring in so much versatility to the club, simply because they are missing some top players, because you have Ryan Sterling injured, Christian Pulisic also injured, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is also injured. So when you have all these players injured, so he's not left for João Felix to see how he can fit in, especially in the attacking position. Before we bring in Fisayo into, let's just quickly listen to the coach of Chelsea, Graham Potter, talking about what João Felix will bring to the club and help them achieve their aim this season.
He's a quality player. Can make a difference in the final third of the pitch. Young, but has obviously still had a lot of really good experience. So he's just a quality player that gives everybody a lift. These things don't happen quickly, but obviously the injuries have maybe sharpened the focus a little bit. But still, it's nice to get him here, get him training today. So that's positive for us, and then we'll see for the game on Thursday.
Well, it's going to bring in a lot. Fisayo, João Felix, we know what he can actually bring into a team when he is on form. But right now, Chelsea, do they really need a player like that? Remember, he's the fourth player right now that they're signing.
Yeah, I think they do. Although it's a confused signing for me, because if Todd Bowley and the Chelsea board are saying that Graham Potter is to build for the long term, then you wonder why a player is joining for just 6 months without an option to buy. João Felix is a very good player. He's 23. And yes, you mentioned the likes of Raheem Sterling. At this moment, I will play Felix ahead of a fit Sterling. How much more when Sterling is out injured? Christian Pulisic, they said, is going to miss a couple of months. He will definitely be an invaluable addition to Chelsea at this moment. But I'm puzzled in the sense that this should be even a signing for the long term. He's a quality player, I know that. He can play as a left-to-right forward. He can play as a centre forward. He can play his best position off the centre forward. So he fits perfectly what Graham Potter wants in an attacker. And I sincerely would have thought that he'll be here he'll be at Stamford Bridge for the long haul and not just for 6 months.
That would have been better, Tasset. Okay, before we wrap up the show quickly, we'll talk about this one. Good news coming from the tennis world. Naomi Osaka, she's 25, and she hasn't played competitive tennis since September. And when she withdrew from Australian Open, tongues were wagging. What is wrong with Naomi Osaka? And people were talking about, is it still the mental health issue when she said she wanted to take a break from tennis? But then right now, she has revealed the real reason why she will be taking a break from tennis, and she will be back at the Australian Open in 2024. Remember when Serena Williams won her last Grand Slam? She was pregnant, and it was at the Australian Open. So more like Australian Open gives something really big, baby boom. But then Naomi Osaka has revealed that yes, she's taking a break from tennis for this year, and she will be bouncing back in 2024. A quick one on this one, Fisaya, before we wrap up the show, just quickly.
Yeah, I was particularly thrilled because ever since that mental issue stopped from her, she seemed to be in a very good form before then, and everything just dropped. And when we saw that news of her pulling out of the Melbourne event, we felt perhaps, are we going to see this lady back in the tennis court giving her best? But so yeah, this is a cheering piece of news, and I do think that being a mother will also add an added responsibility to her as a lady and as a professional, will help her to grow more as a human. And by the time she comes back in 2024, she will unleash those hidden potentials that we know she holds on the rest of the world on the tennis courts.
That's what we'll be hoping, and of course we're wishing her all the best as she's taking a break from tennis for 1 year to be back in 2024. She posted on her post on her Instagram page the last time, that's earlier today, saying that look, she wants a situation whereby, let me just summarize it, that she wants her baby, a daughter or son to be watching and say, oh, that's my mom. And that's something that most stars really look forward to. Since Serena Williams gave birth, she's not been able to win a Grand Slam. Yes, it's been hard for her. Of course, she has retired from tennis now. I mean, the Australian Open, her name is not that. But for Naomi Osaka, will she be able to come back fully? I mean, she's 25 years. She's still very, very young. I mean, in terms of the sports. Can she really come back fully and be ready to win a Grand Slam after taking a break, a 1 year off from tennis?
Well, time will tell, but 25 is a very good age to do that. You know, Kim Clijsters was the first to take a break in a very prominent way, but she was nearing 30 at that point. Serena gave birth when she was obviously losing some of her powers. So at 25, of course, she can still play very fantastic tennis up to the age of 32. So I'm very optimistic that she will come back and get to win Grand Slams and have that her dream of her baby, Serena, to win in the Grand Slam tournament.
That's what we're hoping for. So we're wishing her all the best as she's taking a break from tennis. Fisayo, thank you so much for taking our time to join me this evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, remember Naomi Osaka, of course, a four-time Grand Slam champion. She won the Australian Open in 2019 and also 2021, US Open in 2018 and also 2022. So hopefully in 2024, when she's back, she'll just start winning Grand Slam again. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a good night rest.